What's up, everybody? Hey, check this out. This is just gonna be a little quick video. I just want to show you guys. I had Big Blue. Everybody know I disassembled Big Blue, my Big Blue Rustler, and of course it had the Mod 1 training inside of it, and so I wanted to go inside and look in and make sure everything was okay after I did a few runs. So as you guys can see. She's still holding up good. She's got a nice smooth roll, and nothing's damaged. Everything, all the screws are still tight. I put Loctite on them, so I make sure that everything was tight. But as you can see, everything is nice and smooth. Us at Mamba Racing, we've been trying to come up with everything we can, to make everything better for you guys in speed runs, and especially drag. So, we got a lot of things we're trying to create. So, just be patient with us. Let us get working. But anyway, what I wanted to share with you guys is how you make these, because I know everybody's at that point now. They're ripping up diffs, and they're breaking diffs, and they're doing everything. I mean, going Mod 1 is your own personal interest. If you want to go that way, if you want to go that route, or if you don't want to go that route. I know a lot of guys want that that differential, so you can have a lot more control. But us drag guys, we already running posi spools as it is. So the hot racing posi spools and all the different kind of posi spools. But me, I kind of wanted to go overboard. I kind of want to go over the posi spool and kind of create the Mod 1 that I've been watching on YouTube for a long time. So I decided just to kick back and do it. So I'm gonna go over quickly what I kind of used. First of all, I definitely, if you're gonna do this Mod 1, I completely advise you to step up your game with your axles to MIP X duties, because to me that's probably going to be the only thing that I hold. Number one, you got to get, number two, you have to get a aluminum, training case, because you can't use a stock training case, or even the hybrid case from RPM. It's not going to work. I mean, it's just it's too much friction in here, and it's just going to eat away at that plastic. So you definitely have to get your Integy or a hot racing, aluminum training case. Okay. Now, with me, I bulked up the shaft to a 6mm shaft from a 5mm shaft, and I actually had to hand do the whole entire shaft. So I mean, you can actually use the hot racing posi spool shaft on the 5mm and just keep everything 5mm. Okay. On this one here, I actually did the I don't know if you guys can see that, but I actually had to do a lot of modifying on this one. Now my drag setup is a little different than this one, but because I actually used a pinion gear. But this is a size 32 tooth Mod 1 gear. Like I said, you can get the hot racing ones if you want to use it, and get the spur adapter and the pinion adapter pretty much, and you could use that. Because I went with a 6mm shaft, I had to also run a 6mm bearing also. So so if you're gonna run the big 6mm shaft, then you got to definitely go up and get your 6mm bearing, the same kind, but just the thing. Now I also used, you got to, when you make these, you got to use a bunch of shims, different style shims, and believe it or not, let me pop that out real quick. Believe it or not, I use an actual nut, because it's just a perfect shim for it, the way I have it set up. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things that you can't do. The biggest thing is, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the shaft, I mean, to drill this shaft out is unless you got a machine shop or somewhere can do it, it takes oh my God, it took me a while just to drill one side out. You know, I broke bits. I had to go back to the hardware store, and I finally just went ahead and spent the money and got some good bits, and then I was finally able to drill the bits. But yeah, so you have to definitely make it the same length as the hot racing spool. So if you have a hot racing spool line, you know, diff lock, if the actual shaft, you can use the same, you know, measurements of the length of that to get this in there. And also, you know, but that's just, you know, that's just for your drive shaft. Now, for your idler gear, see if I can get it out of there. Your idler gear is going to be a little different. I mean, you're pretty much going to have to do a whole lot of grinding with this one. Now, I use my stock shaft, and which is fine. I mean, if you want to go ahead and cut your shaft, 5mm shaft, you can do that also. But this was the tricky part because, I don't know, let me clean this off real quick. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see that bearing on the inside. Well, on this, you have to buy a certain pinion that's got a cup that the bearing can sit down into it. And the bearing ain't going to fit, so you're going to have to do some dremeling and get it drummed out real well, and till it fits, and it fits in there good and, you know, even and smooth. So it took me, I'm sure it took me probably about 2 hours to do that. But, you know, that's your idler gear, and your idler gear is a 16 tooth. So 32 tooth for your drive gear, 16 tooth Mod 1 for your idler gear. And the stock Rustler bearings will fit in that too. That's what you want to put in it, so you can use all your stock bearings. The only thing that I had to go up with was my actual hold on, let me get this back in there. It should drop right in there. Sometimes it gets locked up, you know, when you're trying to put them in. So you have to actually, there we go. All right, now it's in there. See, everything's back working smooth. And everything's shimmed. I mean, I can't tell you what size shim to use because that's something you're going to have to actually go out and play with. There ain't no, you know, I actually did all my homemade shims, just finding different shims I had laying around to work. So make sure, you know, you shim it. You don't want to shim it too tight, but you don't want to shim it loose. You want to shim it where there's actually no slop in the whole training when you're doing it. All right, the next gear that you gotta modify is your clutch shaft for your clutch. You know, this is probably really easy to do. And what I did is I took now this is a 12 tooth Mod 1 gear, and you want to kind of do it just exactly like the other one. I'm gonna take it off here a little bit. I want to use my shim up. So what you got to do here is you got to take, you see how I slotted that out on the top? The first thing you got to do though is you got to cut that shaft down, that shaft piece down. So and once you cut that shaft piece down, you know, and get it to the point where it fits down in the case right, and even with the other gears, then you got to take some kind of Dremel or cutting wheel or whatever, and you got to cut out that slot right there. And you got to, and here's the thing, guys, and even some of you guys who aren't running a Mod 1 or whatever and want to beef up that shaft, the shaft is indestructible. I mean, it's hard to break that, but this little pin right here, see if you can see that little pin. And everybody with rustlers know what I'm talking about, and bandits and all them. That pin there, the stock one, is just junk, and it's going to wind up tearing up you. So what I did, I took a 2.0mm drill bit, and I drilled the hole out, and then I cut the shaft off the drill bit and used it as a pin. So make sure you beef that pin up, or you're just going to be going back in there all the time if you don't. And see, once you put it in there, then it fits right into the slot. So that just drops right in there, and everything else is pretty much, I mean, you can still do this and you can still run a clutch with it. I wouldn't advise it because you'll just burn it up. Because you're already running, you know, positive traction anyway. So I just put a slipper eliminator on it, and it does just fine. But anyway, so like I said, for this slipper clutch shaft, you guys want to use a 12 tooth. Um, I have a use the stock spacer on the top. As you can, I don't know if you can see that, but the stock spacer, I kind of, it's right there, and spacer on the bottom, so you can, and I have a little spacer right here on the aluminum spacer on the bottom. That way, you can kind of adjust it how you want. Play with it, do what you can. And like I say, if you can look, you can see the stock Rustler bearings in there. I actually brought some aftermarket ones, so hopefully they'll hold up. So far, after a few runs they have. Now you get that back in there, and like I say, everything's nice and smooth. The biggest I want to say the biggest problem I had was the shaft, was the drive shaft. Because that's the one that you got to get on. Not perfect, but you got to be so close. So whenever you put your axles on, they're gonna fit and they're gonna do things, and you don't want them to back off because there's so much torque this thing creates that you want to make sure you get everything solid. What else? Yes. Now, for the space on the drive gear for the other side of the trans box, believe it or not, guys, I actually use another 6mm bearing on that shaft, and for some reason that is just a perfect fit. I mean, once you stick it in there and you put the top on, put the top on. You get the top on, everything's seated. It's pretty much there. It's no play in that at all. There's a little play in the slipper clutch because I really don't like to shim that really tight because I just don't want it to break. But everything else is shim tight, and it's a good thing, man. I mean, some of you guys out there who, I know my boy Tim Gonzalez. He's been having a lot of problems with his planetary gears just getting all chewed up. So just if you decide to go that route, man, if you patient person like I know he is, go ahead, man. Y'all build it up. I gave you the information. Like I said, it's pretty simple. But it's simple and then it's hard at the same time. So just make sure you guys do it well. And remember, if you guys are gonna do this, man, you guys got to upgrade to MIP X duties, because I guarantee you put Traxxas, steels on here, Integys, or all those HDs, all that stuff is just gonna get snapped. So make sure you put X duties on there. So far, since I've been using X duties, I haven't snapped the axle at all, and that's was on both my trucks, but now I just got them on. I'm doing a Revo build right now, and the Revo build is going to be really, really, basic. It's not going to be. I might upgrade it later, maybe even put in a low C diff conversion, and I also might do MIPX duties on the rear of my my E-Revo 110 scale. But until then, man, peace out. I hope this helped you guys. I know a lot of you guys were asking me about what's going on with it, so that was just a little me giving back to the community. So thanks, guys. Remember, if you ain't seen us, our page, Mamba Racing RC Club. So you guys come on over there and add us, and we also got the Mamba Racing Extreme Low Ripple cat packs. So find us on both pages and we'll add you, and you guys can order some cat packs and order and check out some info. We're growing and we're getting big, so we hope you guys come out and chill out with us. All right, later.